waste. I'm really looking forward to our time here together.
What's up, good people, and welcome back to the channel today. It is an interview, but for us, it's just catching up with the homie because we got our buddy Josh Ruben back on the show to catch up, to figure out, well, to let you all know, because I've been keeping up all the things he's been involved with. So, Josh, welcome back, buddy. It's good to see you.
Thank you so much. Good to be back. Hello.
Absolutely. My first question is, and I'll always jump at the opportunity to talk to you, but everywhere I look, whether it's the film festivals, whether I'm just casually browsing Shudder, you're in something, you're doing something. So how did you make time to just put out just a very innocent and subtle tweet of saying, "Hey, I'm open for interviews"? I'm like, what? When did you get started?
It's all deception. It's all it's so deceiving because movies they don't take that long to make anymore. You have to shoot them in 12 to 20 some odd days, which is what the most recent films I did, A Wounded Fawn and Blood Relatives, both. I think Wounded Fawn might have been 30 days. I don't know how that was possible given the budget. And then Blood Relatives was like 20, maybe. And Blood Relatives happened within a year, and Wounded Fawn I did, I think, right before Blood Relatives. It was like, it's been several months since I shot both of them. It was November and October of last year, so now in the meantime, well, I guess I'll just tweet out and ask people if they want to talk about it. I've just been writing. In the meantime, I've just been trying to pay rent and do that whole thing. We got married, just trying to so put a little time aside for love, put a little time aside for some writing, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's so now that they're coming out, especially because they're smaller movies and Shudder is still a boutique platform, I booked myself on a little bit of a indie press tour. It's just amazing that Gold Belt came out and you guys were down to talk about anything
every single time, buddy. Congratulations. And just a fan of your work, a fan of you as a person. You absolutely are having the best year of your life here. Fantastic film and media that you're putting out, and love somehow made its way in there as well too. Much deserved. And here we are at the end of the year, and you're back to writing. So you already know once we get to the end of this conversation, we're going to have to kind of pull back the curtain a little bit, see what you got loaded up, because I know you at least got 3 in the can here.
I'll talk about what I can talk about. I'll tell you as much as I possibly can. Absolutely.
Okay. That's fine. Listen. All hints, all foreshadowing, we'll accept them all. We don't want to break no NDAs. We don't want anybody mad at us. We just want to have a good time here.
Beautiful.
We can't afford the warning. I have to ask though. So these two movies, production-wise, were kind of close together, right? But these are kind of, I don't want to say polar, but we got two crazy different sides of the spectrum in terms of tone. Are you tired? Which came first?
Back when I did it, I guess I was kind of tired because I think Wounded Fawn was September into October, and then I took a little break, and then Blood Relatives started at the end of November, but I couldn't get there right away, and I went the very, very end of November, and then we wrapped mid-December. So they were back to back, which was intense, but I wasn't actually there for the full production or hard prep for Blood Relatives, but I was a producer on that. With Wounded Fawn, I was just an actor, but I still went out, pretty quickly right after Travis DM'd me asking me if I wanted to do this movie, and I read it and I was like, this is brilliant. Yes, I am, and I have to. Two very different filmmakers and two very different movies. Travis is a visual visionary. He's such an artist. He's not even necessarily a darker personality. He just likes exploring these kind of darker themes. And he's got 2 other features under his belt. And then Noah is a first-time feature director, but has been in, 50 movies. He's Ryan Johnson's utility actor. He plays different characters in each of Ryan's projects and stuff. And he wanted to make a film about family. And after he actually was in he was one of the members of the test audience for Werewolves Within. That's how I met him. The producers brought Noah in. I was like, holy shit, that's the guy from Looper. I got to ask him, what it's like, being more important. And he was like, hey, I love Scare Me. I was wondering, you know, would you be down to help me do what you did for Scare Me? I wore multiple hats. I'm going to do the triple hat thing for this movie, Blood Relatives. You want to help me produce it? And I said, I'm not a paperwork producer, but I'm a connector. I just worked with this girl, Victoria Morales, who's incredible on this movie called Plan B. Maybe you want her to play your daughter, whatever it is. So anyway, yeah, two very different experiences, but they came together, you know, beautifully.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great. At least you got the more lighthearted, you know, more cheery story at the end instead of having to do the reverse.
I know, instead of flaying myself, not to give anything away, but it's like, yeah, I could truly be like, there's something for everyone. And it still hasn't quite hit me that, I mean, I don't know when this interview is coming out, but like, you know, it's the 23rd November now. The movie, The Wounded Fawn, is out December 1st. It still hasn't hit me that that's the first movie I've led since Scare Me, which came out in 2020. And, you know, yeah, it hasn't quite hit me yet. But it's wonderful to know both are coming out and both people are responding. Going, oh shit, look at that guy.
Yeah.
Listen,
yeah. Listen, at this rate, man, you're gonna become your name is gonna not only just be synonymous with horror, but I think we're gonna have to start talking about you in the names of some of the greats. Your performances always are very distinctly different, and although I'm such a fan of your smile and your energy, and when you're as soon as the camera looks at you, I just know we're in for a ride. I would love to just know what's sort of the preparation process to really shake these characters off from one film to the next.
Maybe I'm a sociopath, but unfortunately, it's way too easy to do all of it. Like Blood Relatives, like my cameo in that was just like, I've been doing sketch comedy for years. That's how I came up. We had to work fast, like doing videos for CollegeHumor and Funny or Die, and like you name it, Comedy Central, just like rolling in and doing sketch stuff. You don't have any time. You just got to go in and be funny, like improv shows, all that stuff. So to play a character like that was like that same DNA is there for a character like that. I just, I'll show up and do my weird eye thing and find a weird voice and creep Victoria out. And then with Wounded Fawn, it was the challenge, the acting challenge. And then there was no shaking it off. I just, took my jacket off and kept like producing for Noah. And then for Wounded Fawn, the cool thing was I could just focus on the performance and on the acting. And there was no really shaking it off. In fact, it was so energizing to play the bad guy and so energizing to play opposite Sarah Lind, who is a genius, and so energizing to work with another filmmaker and to just be acting. There was no shaking it off. I would just finish and like instantly go into being like Smiley Josh, which is probably, again, sociopathically unusual. It's like, wow, this guy doesn't need to like listen to sad music in a corner. He just like keeps going after, using the bod knock on an innocent victim.
and again, I to that point, it attests to her genius here, because I could imagine they have a sort of an outline, a parameter of what they want the characters to be, but after that, it's up for you to go do it, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So much of what I did, certainly for Wounded Fawn, was what are the parameters here? How big you want it? How small you want it? And the acting challenge was honestly playing more of a grounded person, grounded character. I usually play these like kind of bigger characters. So just to ask Travis how big he wanted it or how grounded he wanted it, knowing that I had to play as grounded as possible, because that's the scariest type of human being, is I know I'm right and existing and performing from a place of like what they perceive to be reality, what they perceive to be correct. That was a good challenge, but a fun one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I almost kind of saw this character as like a progression of you from Scare Me.
I am a conspiracy theorist that they're all connected. We don't want to have that. We don't want to have that conversation.
He put me in the same shirt. I didn't even realize they were gonna. I didn't even realize. I got to my hotel room and I'm like, this is a Shudder movie. I didn't even know it was going to Shudder. Number one, which Scare Me did. Number two, he put me in a white T-shirt and a blue button-up, same exact outfit Fred wears. And I was just like, I'm basically just, Fred a little further into the night or whatever, you know what I mean?
Right. We kept those cameras rolling. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. They kept the
potential here.
Yeah.
Every time I think about Scary, I was like, the whole idea is that he was an author that was getting ready to write a story, a revenge story about werewolves, and then what was that next movie that came out? Oh, Werewolves Within. Oh,
yeah, they are all yeah.
Oh, please, we're not starting with this whole Mr. Josh Ruben. Please believe me when I tell you, you don't need a multiverse. You don't. It's not necessary.
You don't want me to Shang-Chi some situation, just a lot of just a gold circle. Yeah, okay. All right.
We appreciate it the way it is. Please, promise.
Please don't. Please no Roger and Fred and Bruce meeting up, pointing at each other like three Spider-Men, but just three short me's, you know.
I would be all for it. You have no clue. I would just be all for it. I mentioned Werewolves Within it and its success, but obviously, it still hasn't slowed down because you're having still global releases happen as well too.
Yeah.
I think it just hit. It's somewhere in Asia, right? Was it China?
This is crazy. Werewolves just released yesterday in theaters in South Korea. So awesome. Someone DM'd me and said, I just got out of Blood Brothers. I almost said Wounded Fawn. I just got out of Werewolves Within in Busan, and it killed. And I was like, that's insane, because the movie came out June 25th of 2021, well over a year ago now. And the fact that it's opening in theaters, and I was saying, wow, did the laughs work? Were people responding? That people jumped and people laughed? And I was like, that's amazing, because I have no concept of how far films, can kind of travel and translate, and how comedy can be difficult. And that really, really excited me.
As well deserved.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool.
I was happy to hear that for sure. And I was like, oh, and obviously I love the international variants of posters as well.
The poster went hard.
The poster went hard. The Japanese one is incredible. I think there's a Russian one. There's just many different iterations, and I have to get one like printed. Once I have an office like you guys, I have a shelf. All I have is I have the tiniest little condo. My wife and I are bursting out of it. And so once I can have space like you guys to have my own, put my stuff on my shelf, it's gonna be great. But someday.
We want the VIP tour when that goes down. So this we'll be ready to go. Get that on the cows.
I have a little BTS question. There was one scene that caught my eye that I had to go and play back in A Wounded Fawn, with a lot of blood, in the hand coming. Sorry, I forgot to give a spoiler warning, but this is the warning right here because I had to ask. There's a hand coming out of your head.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Does that mean that there's somewhere a Josh Ruben prosthetic head with a hole in the back of it?
I will email you the picture. Yeah, it's crazy. Ashley Thomas, Yellow Moth Makeup, I think is her name on Instagram. She and her partner Stella took a mold of my head. So I have also the image. I've done several head molds in my career. So I've worn a lot of prosthetics. A lot of people can't handle it because it truly is like no sight, you can't hear anything, you can't see anything for about an hour. You can only breathe through your nose. Full heavy putty on your head and shoulders. I've done it a few times. This was the most intense one because they had to do a full head cast. So it wasn't just pieces of your face you were going to use and this and that and the other thing. It was fully heavy and intense for an hour. But yeah, like crazy Josh prosthetic. They punched hair into the prosthetic, so it really like had my hair and my weird cowlicky hair very, very accurately. And I just texted the makeup artist pictures of my face and kind of a grimacy expression, and they matched it crazy. So during the whole production, we were putting sunglasses on it and, like picking its nose and doing all kinds of stuff. It was just like sitting in the makeup room. I wonder where it ended up. I feel like that's something I should have in my non-existent office. Is like, a bust of myself. Although maybe that's just too masturbatory. I don't know. But yeah,
it should definitely. I
think it should go on your shelf.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
That's the centerpiece.
I show my nieces and nephews like there I am. Check that out. All right, cool. Yeah.
And it's also weird that there could be somebody else that has it as well too. That
I know
obviously speaks to Josh every day. Like, hey, Josh, how's it going? Right?
Yeah, I know. Well, son. Yeah, we'll see.
Speaking of Shudder, with a lot of your projects been featured on this platform, I feel is the premier platform for all things horror. When we talked about before, especially under the AMC umbrella with Scare Me and Werewolves Within and so on, what's been that level of confidence knowing now that like you know when you do a project, because being an independent filmmaker, there's that unpredictability of will it get sold, will somebody pick it up, who will see it, and so on. But everywhere you look now, like I said before we started, folks, I was prepping for this, and I was like, I need to watch his new film. I know he has a new film. And then I was like, I also need to watch this other film. And it was like, oh, they're the same thing. And I was like, God damn, everywhere you go, damn it, Josh is right there.
That's too much.
I listen, keep it coming. But what is that level of confidence now, knowing that, like, when you put out something, it's going to have a home?
Well, it's tricky because Shudder's amazing. I mean, like the biggest props go to Shudder for just opening their checkbook and making sure that independent artists with the weirdest of ideas can get shit made and put up on a platform where they do have well over 1 million subscribers. So that's awesome. The issue is that if you're making a movie, I think directly for Shudder, unless you have a deal with their distribution, like especially their hard media distribution arm, RLJ, it only goes so far, it only travels so far. So well, it's this beautiful thing, and my confidence is certainly, I'm heartened that these movies are getting out there, people are seeing them, talking about them, and believe me, I obsessively I type in Wounded Fawn or Blood Relatives or Scare Me and see if people are watching them. But not many people have seen certainly my first film. They're discovering it in dribs and drabs, which is exciting. Because I talk about it with people as they want to talk about it, as they experience it. So the confidence is, I feel great that I'm just able to make stuff and put it out there and make stuff with my friends when you have this incredible opportunity to make a movie, because it's impossible. It's Herculean to get a movie kind of made anyway. So I'm very, very grateful. But on the flip side of it, I look at Helena Rain and Zach Kreger or Parker Finn, who are putting movies out from Bodies to Smile, and kind of going, that's the next effort, is that in what I'm doing, I'm hoping that I can take, if people are responding to me, whether as fans or otherwise, or liking my taste and stuff, that we can do what we did with Werewolves, but not release a Werewolves during, like, in the middle of the pandemic, and this is why I'm excited it's coming out in South Korea. Whatever the next movie is, the next thing I do is just making sure that it gets seen, whether it's on a streamer, which a lot of eyes are on streamers, more kind of commercial streamers, or that we get a theatrical run because people are going to see horror. So that's the dream. That's where I think like the real confidence will be in me as a filmmaker, because it's great to have my niche corner. I love just making anything and working with my buddies, but I want to try and, keep up with my contemporaries. That's just it.
That's the quote right there. People are watching horror. That's the
yeah. Can't get enough of it. Yeah. Well, it's a horrific world. We got to go somewhere to see a protagonist like survive, right?
It's kind of telling now that some horror films is a more sustainable reality than our own reality is.
Yeah. Like I'd kind of rather be in a barbarian house than as sirens are literally blaring through my window in the real world.
For sure, I was like, oh, that's got to be New York. Sorry, it's got to be something going on our side of the world.
I'm pretty sure that was me. The city is afoot. But let me up in that barbarian house. I can fix her.
That's a whole other conversation. Is would you stick around and be like, oh, can I help you? You're in the basement. Anyway, it's a whole other. But hey, it's a horror comedy in my.
Absolutely. And speaking of horror comedy, my last question for you today is, I think that you have found a beautiful niche, something that I think that this kind of up or down subgenre has kind of needed for a long time. Since I would say Shaun of the Dead. We usually get a lot of misses, but in your case, we're getting just like hit after hit after hit. If there is something within the foreseeable future, can you say or not say that we're still going to have something that we can cringe and also laugh to?
Oh yeah, there's two things that I think safely tease now. One maybe a little bit more than the other. So the more fun of the horror comedies is a project I'm working on with Michael Kennedy, who wrote Freaky.
Yes, we
So
love
Michael and I are
Kennedy.
working on a thing. That's literally all I can say is that is going to be. When I think about that, I think truly of something that could be far-reaching and make me feel good, but ideally scary too. Very much inspired by our love, or certainly my adoration for Drag Me to Hell. I think Sam Raimi's Drag Me to Hell is like such a terrific movie, and I haven't quite seen anything like it since. And then the other film that we're sort of packaging and trying to, again, like find financing, like do that Herculean like boulder push. Is more like is a pretty scary sci-fi with some kind of Coen Brothers-esque humor to it.
Let's go.
Yeah, and it's if I can do kind of what Carpenter did with The Thing, and we can use practical effects the way Carpenter blew it out, but to bring in obviously very different characters in a different scenario, and with some humor too, we can get away with that. I think that would make that one quite a success. But those are the two I think that are at least maybe immediately kind of neck and neck. And so hopefully I'll have more to tell you soon. And
we're ready.
You'll enjoy them all the same.
I'm about to pick at this just a little bit more. I know we say we'll go a little bit about 20 minutes here, but I got a few little follow-up questions. First question is, where are we going to see you this year? Do you have plans for South by Southwest? I know you love Tribeca, so we'll be seeing Tribeca, Sundance possibly. I want to kind of know where I should be targeting these potential releases here.
Oh man, I mean, neither of the films, unfortunately, I mentioned have been shot, but I do have a film that I'm an EP on. We submitted. It's a very different film, very, very independent comedy by a great director named Adam Frucci. We submitted to a few of those festivals, so I'm crossing my fingers that maybe one of them will rear its head and that that will go. But they made a bunch of Sundance announcements recently. I will say the editor, Patrick Lawrence, who's a co-producer on Blood Relatives and the editor, and also edited Scare Me, just got his 7th project into Sundance. He's a 7-time Sundance alum now. And I'm so excited for him.
All right.
Yeah, so we'll see if I can follow him. If I do to that spot or any of them, I will let you know.
Yeah, you're giving a lot of shout outs to folks, folks you work with, folks you're fans of, and stuff like that. Just for folks to kind of get an idea of what some of your downtown looks like. Who else are you watching? What films have you been a fan of this year, or who else work, or do you just are either truly inspired by, or just are completely entertained with?
Oh man, I mean, I'm pretty obsessed with the ensemble cast and with the director of Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. I think when you get an ensemble cast like that, especially the comedians and the dramatic actors, and you put them in that scenario and they really play the humor, but they really play the horror. I thought that was really, really rad. I enjoyed that. I thought Pearl was really outstanding. I think Mia Goth, I got in trouble for some reason on Twitter for saying Mia Goth is the Meryl Streep of horror. I don't know why. Maybe
because Meryl Streep is like a name you just aren't allowed to say, I guess. But yeah, I guess I can go in that here.
Is that it? And can you not say Meryl Streep? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm a dinosaur, so I don't know who I'm gonna end up. I'll be canceled for
cancel culture. They change the rules daily, so I can't keep it out.
I probably 3 times since it, but I really do just think she has just such an immense talent, and the fact she plays in this, it is a horror movie. I mean, it's the origin of a serial killer. Really, I thought that movie was just so astounding. There's some amazing stuff out there. I don't know. What I enjoy about all of it, everything I'm seeing for the most part, is that people are taking swings, whether they miss or not.
Yeah.
The fact that our sensibilities have changed, and that we're eager to see something fun and interesting and different, that we're not willing to just like take something super broad strokes that people want to see. I mean, I have a Jewish daddy-daughter vampire road trip movie that has a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. You know what I mean? Like people
Necessary.
are just like interested. You know what I mean? It's like people are just interested in seeing something kind of different. So
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and say, Blood Relatives better be loading up a sequel. There's definitely more story.
people have been talking about TV. They're like, I want to live with these characters a bit in television.
Yeah.
So Noah's, I don't know. I'll leave that up to Noah, but I
That
think that'd
would
be
really
great.
work.
It would.
Yeah.
It
That
would.
would. It like a
And,
mini series. Hell yeah. Mm-hmm.
And listen, Josh, you said something, and in all due respect, because I love Shudder, but I noticed something you said too, and I firmly agree. And I don't think I've said this at all this year, but I have got to tip my hat off to A24 this year, because they have been killed. My favorite movie this year is Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. But then Bodies by His Bodies, X, Pearl. I mean, they just kept swinging and swinging, and
they just released a gingerbread house from the Hereditary like clubhouse as a gingerbread house.
No,
for like the holidays, and I'm like, well, I guess that's going to be somebody's present this year. So it's like not only the movies, but just the brand, like the fact that they're putting stuff out. I mean, it's very expensive, but the stuff that they put stuff out where it's like, how do you think of that shit? You can buy the hot dog fingers from Everything Everywhere All at Once. People buy it. They sold out pretty quick. You know what I mean? And that like that's the thing is when a brand like that can make it a moment and that intersection of commerce and culture and film. That's really dreamy. That's really exciting to me.
It's a lot of chatter too that The Whale is going to do really good.
I know,
too.
I
haven't had to see it, but I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah, man, I love Brendan Fraser. I'm excited for him having a moment again. He just went on record as saying he would totally return to the Mummy franchise, and I was like, "That's dude." I mean, you know what I mean? I'll see it.
I did not hear that, but I'm all for it.
Whatever.
That is interesting. Josh, it's holiday season and you made time to chat with us today. Before we let you go, do you plan on just relaxing now, or you got more stuff to do this December before you get into the new year?
Very few meetings, very few. If there's any deal to close, there's any, just that stuff kind of going through. I think it's going to be pretty chill. I think it's going to be pretty relaxing through the end of the year. My wife and I are just like, no holiday travel, no nothing. It seems like you guys are pretty like you are where you're going to be, right? For the holiday. Yeah, good. That's great. It's just that's the way it should be. Just like keep it easy.
Yeah,
a lot going on out there.
Since Thanksgiving is tomorrow, I might as well just ask a quick Thanksgiving question. What's the one thing that must be on the menu?
Oh, man, I'm a stuffing freak. I mean, I love all that other stuff. I'm just like, I will take a Tupperware when I'm at my family's house and just hide it in the back of the fridge because my mom will make like everybody sandwiches. And I'm like, where did it go? I have a total Pearl like meltdown. If there's none left. I'm like, you gave like Uncle David a stuffing? Because everyone gets leftovers. And I'm like, I become like Bruce from Wounded Fawn when it comes to stuff. I don't know why. I don't know. What about you two? Zoe, do you have a fave? Do you have like a must? Like,
I'm honestly, you could leave the turkey at home. I'm a ham girl.
Honey baked ham. That's my girl over there. Hell yes.
I'm kind of the same. Like that's why Christmas is, we do Christmas ham. It's like that's the thing. Yeah, I'm into it.
Yep.
Yeah. What about you? Is there a fave?
All day honey baked ham. But if I didn't have to pick that, I would go. I just had this question yesterday. I said, if I didn't pick ham, what's the one thing I want? It's just going to sound odd, but like, I'm also just very, very interested, but beyond the pies and whatnot. I'm also just very
killing me. Come on.
I just love rolls. I just love rolls.
Yes. Yeah.
Just like, I look around, it's like, okay, got some croissants here, got some regular.
So our dinner, the three of us, is going to be rolls and ham and stuffing, and that's fine.
Damn right. That's it. That's
fine. I will see you at 4:00 tomorrow.
No later than that.
It's got to be early too because you're gonna eat all day.
Well, Josh, it's always a pleasure to have you here. Obviously, the doors forever open for you. Cannot wait to see these projects coming up. And folks, you got a ton of Josh Ruben content involved for you. Blood Relatives available now. I believe it just released this week. A Wounded Fawn. You can check it out December 1st on Shudder. And then all the other previous content, just give it a Google, go down to IMDb, they're all there. And for the folks overseas, finally getting your chance to check out A Werewolves Within, you're welcome. It's been here for about a year now. We've had a good time with it. You can enjoy it and share it with your friends. It's a fantastic film, and really can't wait to see more of your work. That will be my piece. So anything you want to add before we roll?
Over and out. Streaming. Happy Thanksgiving. Pull up with an extra box of stovetop.
For me personally, yes, happy Thanksgiving. Very grateful, but give me.
Folks, show some love to Josh in the comments below. And as always, thank y'all so much for tuning in for interviews and other content. We'll see you back after the holidays. Y'all have a good one. Eat a lot of food. Get in a food coma, but be safe nonetheless. We'll see you back very soon.
Thank you.
Absolutely.